Hello and welcome to Suite 301. We're coming to you live from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. We're here to give you all the latest news and updates from around all our Cold Club sports leagues. You can watch our broadcasts on our Suite 301 page and on our Facebook pages and on YouTube.
And remember to like our Facebook pages and to follow our Twitter accounts for the latest news and media, and also subscribe to our YouTube channel from around all of our leagues and to watch previous episodes of Suite 301.
All right. Well, hey, Happy New Year, everybody.
Yes.
We're back to January. I mean, it's not New Year's. It's been a couple weeks, but the last time we came at you was more like Christmas time back in December. We just wrapped up the football championship. So hope you and your family have had a terrific holiday season. Hopefully you're returning back to school here this past week or shortly. And 2022 is going to be the best year for you as well as for us. Where should we start?
Let's get into some football.
Right in the football? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so right before the football break ended, or the school year ended, we finished with the football championship. We said goodbye to our esteemed colleague, Justin Rickard, who was our director of football operations, who's moved on. We wish him luck at Campbell University with his new job. But the last piece of football stuff that he had got accomplished before he departed was he got the All-Americans and postseason award winners announced. So let's flash those up on the screen. And there's our first team All-Americans, offense, defense, special teams, all-purpose player. I think that might be cut off by the ticker there. But congratulations to those fine athletes who had a great 2021 NCFA season and earned themselves first-team All-American honors. Of course, we have a first-team All-American, and then there's the second team right there as well. So, again, great job to those people, those players who had a good 2021 season. You will find that those are posted on the NCFA website as well. There's a tab on there you can go back and look at all the past award winners as well. And then postseason award winners, besides the All-Americans, we can get into that as well. I believe we have a graphic there. Congratulations to Kellen Gernstein, quarterback, our bowl game MVP. We knew that from the championship back in December. Our offensive player of the year went to Chase Soper, the quarterback for George Mason. Defensive player of the year, Gabriel Gibson from George Mason. Fantastic years amongst all three. It's not a surprise that all three of those players ended up in the national title game. And then on the other side, we've got our president of the year, Dylan Brown from University of Toledo. What a job he did not just getting that team started pre-COVID, but pulling it through that COVID season. They were all geared up to play in 2020. The 2020 season did not happen because of COVID, and he kept the team together and had a really successful inaugural year. A year later than he wanted to, so congratulations to Dylan Brown, our president of the year. Coach of the year went to Kevin Atkins from Gordon State College. Fine year they had. Finished second in the South Atlantic Conference. Went to the South Atlantic Conference championship game and defeated Columbus State to win the South Atlantic Conference title. And then our conference coordinator of the year, Mylan Gotcher, North Atlantic Conference coordinator. We appreciate Mylan's service to the NCFA. What a volunteer he's been in the last couple of years. Former George Mason player himself. So that's our NCFA postseason awards. We've got some more coming. The All-American, Academic All-American Awards will be released at the end of this month. But as Justin has moved on, we have replaced him with a new director of football operations. And I believe we're going to have Dave Mogensen to join the show. Dave, are you there?
I'm here, Sandy.
Dave, good to see you again.
Christian, what's happening? Sandy, how are you?
It's happening, Dave. Good to see you.
We're doing good. Hopefully you were able to catch that little bit of an intro, but we just went over the All-Americans postseason award winners. We've got the Academic All-American Award winners coming up here at the end of the month. But in that time, we went on a search for our new director of football operations, and we decided to go through a different approach than we have in the past. In the past, we've looked for someone here in the office that would take on that responsibility. We decided this time we wanted to look outside the office, find someone who is passionate about football, knowledgeable about football, passionate about the NCFA, and the timing couldn't have been better with you reaching out to us and expressing your interest in getting back involved. You've been a coach in this league for years. You've been a volunteer. You've been a broadcaster, a director of awards and recognition. Tell us what it means to you to get back involved with the NCFA.
Yeah, it was exciting for me to have the ability to get back involved. So in my new role with the Iowa Barnstormers, that's a spring and summer football league. So as I looked at my life, and I'm like, you know what? Let me see if I can get back and do something with NCFA, because I really enjoyed my time there. I enjoyed, obviously, the time coaching. We had a nice run with Milwaukee for that few years. But being involved behind the scenes with you guys is really rewarding, and I really enjoyed it. So it was a kind of a perfect storm where I emailed you, said, hey, I'm kind of available. I'd love to get back involved. And you were like, well, we have this job we're kind of looking for, and you might be a fit. So going through that process and interviewing, and I know you had some other people that were really qualified, but I do think it was a great fit for my life where I'm at. And I think, my background as a coach in the league, but also already working behind the scenes is really a great perspective for the team presidents and the players and the coaches in the league now. So I kind of know everybody's shoes, how they all fit. I know how a coach feels. I know how the admins feel. I know how the team presidents feel. I know how you guys feel from the NCFA admins. So to be able to have a little bit of empathy for everybody's roles, but still help move the league forward.
Outstanding. Well, we're excited to have you on board. And, it's only been a couple of weeks, so, not too much moving and shaking's happened just yet, but I know we've got the wheels in motion for some upcoming meetings, discussions with the teams. You want to dive into that a little bit about what we got on the slate for the next few weeks?
Yeah, as I sent out an email to pretty much everybody, even teams that didn't play last year. I know there's some teams that didn't quite get back from COVID, and there was some hoops to jump through, so we're hoping to maybe get some of those teams back. But I did send an email out last week just detailing the first meeting we're going to have, which is really about the playoffs. So everybody who was involved last year knows that we went away from the playoff format that they had been doing for a while, went back to the conference championship game, and then taking the top two teams for the national championship. But there's been some discussion about how do we get playoffs back. So we're going to get on a Zoom call next week. I did send out the date. Later today, I'll send out the actual Zoom link for everybody to be involved in that. But we'll just go through the scenarios of if we want to bring playoffs back, here's how that looks, and here's what changes the dynamics for different things for the league next year, and just kind of get that out on the floor and get that settled before we go into league meetings in the middle or end of February. All
right, sounds good. Well, hey, looking forward to working with you. Moving forward, it's been a great 2 weeks. It's been a great 5 years. I think 6 years since we first started working together. So, welcome on board. And is anything else you want to say out to the NCFA teams before we bid you adieu?
I don't think I have any wise words of wisdom here. Just it's that time of year where you feel like there's a million things that you still have to do for next year, but it's also a little bit of a quiet period. So we hope to get those academic All-American nominees in so we can get that wrapped up and put our final stamp on 2021. And then make sure if you don't get that link for the Zoom next week about playoffs, just reach out to me, let me know, and I can send it to you. There's a chance that our contact list isn't totally updated or whatever. So we're trying to get every team on that call next week, a week from today, actually, next Tuesday evening.
Outstanding. All right, Dave, thanks so much for taking your time to join the show, and looking forward to hearing from you more as the 2022 season progresses. All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you. All right, so I guess that wraps up football for this segment. How about we dive into some men's basketball?
Would love to do that. We got the season officially, I should say the spring portion of the season officially got underway last week. Had just a few games played. Those scores are being updated as we speak. But really looking forward to this upcoming weekend. We have a lot of really great games on the slate. For this upcoming weekend, week 12, talk about a few of those that I've, really perked my ears up. You got number 15, Florida State taking on Auburn. Florida State just won its first 2 games of the year, defeating Georgia College down in the South Atlantic South. But Auburn's a team that hasn't played yet. but I think is going to be a really competitive matchup for Florida State. So I'm looking forward to seeing how those games come out. And then we also have number 5 Notre Dame against number 16 Michigan. That should be a really fun matchup. Both those teams are really, really well coached and are very competitive this year. So that should be an interesting one to keep your eyes on. We also have number 6 Purdue versus Iupui. That one might be rescheduled. Talking with those teams right now, there might be some COVID protocols in place where they might not be able to play, but we'll have to get that rescheduled. But that'll be a fun one to watch. Number 8 South Carolina versus App State. Both those teams are 3-1 right now. App State, a brand new team to our league, so that should be an interesting game. And then I think maybe the game of the week, our number 1 team in the land, Vermont, taking on number 14 Northeastern, and have already confirmed that these games are going to be taking place. Both these teams participate in the fall tournament, so I got to see both of these guys play in 2 very, very strong programs. So I'm really, really looking forward to seeing how those games shake out. But yeah, a lot of good games on the docket for this weekend as well as next weekend. I just wanted to highlight a few for this weekend, but yeah, really excited about it. I know there's some reschedules happening, but we're working through those to get those rescheduled to later in the year so that we can accommodate. But yeah, should be a lot of fun this week, so make sure to check out the website, see how these games play out.
Outstanding. Yeah, that's exciting to get basketball underway. It is a winter sport, so it's that time of year, especially around here in Pittsburgh where the Steelers just got eliminated. What are we going to watch? Time to focus on some basketball, I guess. So
yes.
Good luck to those teams that are playing this weekend in the NCBBA men's division. Any housekeeping items you want to part with?
Yeah, I mean the biggest thing we have, as I was saying, tons of games happening in the next few weeks. The biggest thing is I would say 90% of our teams have a roster in from the fall portion of the season. Those teams need to get a second academic eligibility letter submitted. So talking with those teams that are playing to get that letter submitted so that their rosters are fully up to date for the spring portion of the season. And I think we mentioned it last week. We're still on the goal line announcing our national championship venues, or locations, I should say, for our national championship for both men's and women's. We are literally just waiting on a signature. So once we have that signature, we will have press releases going out. But I'm really excited about these locations, and I think the teams are really going to enjoy it too. So be on the lookout for that. A lot of big things coming out in the next, couple weeks.
Outstanding. All right, good stuff. Looking forward to that. All right, well, we're going to take a quick commercial break, and when we get back to you, we'll have Alec Verhoff and talk about some women's basketball. Stay tuned.
The Game is the official headwear sponsor for Cold Club Sports. They offer our teams quality headwear such as hats, visors, boonies, and beanies for a great low price. All items are customizable to meet our team's needs. Contact Felicia.Battaglia at coldclubsports.com for all of your headwear needs.
And we are back. Let's get Alec Verhoff on the line. Let's talk about some NCBBA women's basketball. There he is. Alec, can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we're all good. Good to have you on, Alec. Thank you for joining us, leader of the Women's League in the NCBBA. Take us through what's going on in women's basketball. Has games started yet?
Yeah, no. So we're supposed to have a matchup last weekend, had to unfortunately get rescheduled. But we do have a full slate of games this weekend. And there's plenty of big matchups that I wanted to highlight for just the spring semester in general. There was quite a bit of games played in the fall, but obviously the bulk is coming in the spring for us. But a couple of big matchups we'll have is Saginaw Valley State taking on Grand Valley State out in the Great Lakes North. Both those teams started off hot. That could very well determine the winner of the conference there. Staying in the Great Lakes in the south portion, we have Ohio State and Indiana playing this semester. Ohio State ran through basically everybody last year. Indiana started off hot. They're a new team this year, so they've never played them in our league. So, that's a big game to see if maybe they can take down one of our top teams. Moving on to the Mid-Atlantic, we have Montclair State and Villanova. That's a top 10 matchup. They're both 4-0 from the fall semester. So, one of those teams could pull away. That could be the matchup that determines it as well, sends one of them, to maybe host the regional tournament. And then, those are the big matchups. Outside of that, Mid-America is, 4 of the 5 teams are new this season. So I'm excited to see what happens there. And, the Pacific didn't have any fall games. So, I'm also excited to see, who pulls away from that conference too.
Nice, man. And I'm sure similar to men's basketball, housekeeping items, you're talking about academic letters and then also, the announcement of the national championship locations.
Yep, absolutely. Yep. And, I've sent out plenty of reminders to teams, just because you had the academic letter in the fall, we still need one for the spring as well. So be sure to get that in plenty of time before your game so we can have time to activate the rosters.
Absolutely. And just to touch on that a little bit more, because I get a couple questions like, well, we already turned in our academic letter. The second academic letter is to verify that the guys that are on the fall or the guys that are on the roster from the fall portion of the season are still academically eligible. Obviously, you had grades come out, during the holidays after the fall semester. So we just want to make sure that everybody that is on that roster still has a cumulative GPA of 2.0 or higher full-time and also not on academic probation or warning. So, make sure, like Alex said, to get those in. And Alec, when's the next top 20 poll coming out for the Women's League?
It'll be next Wednesday.
Okay. And
I'm
to
sorry,
touch
next
on,
Thursday. Sorry.
there you go. Men's will be coming out this Thursday, so stay tuned for that as well. But any other parting words, Alec, for the Women's League?
Nope, that's it. Looking forward to a good semester of basketball.
Good stuff, my man. Thank you, Alec. We'll touch base soon.
All right. Well, that wraps up our basketball segment of this month's episode of Sweet 301. Now to get into some baseball. Let's welcome to the set Jimmy
Juicy
Henderson,
Jimmy,
Director of Division II Baseball Operations.
How we doing, guys?
Good.
Hey, Henny. Good, dog.
All right, so first on the docket for baseball, team previews, as you may have saw on our social media outlets, started getting released yesterday with Division I. We will release one region per day starting yesterday, leading up to the top 20 poll getting released on Thursday, January 27th. So if you're in Division II and haven't turned one in yet, make sure you do so as we're starting to prep our post. So we can include you in those, and same idea there. Team previews will begin to be released for Division II on next Monday, January 24th. One region a day leading up to the first preseason poll, top 15 poll on Thursday, February 3rd. This is a good way to set expectations for your team and give us a little preview of what you guys are expecting to accomplish throughout the year. Some of you are bouncing back from COVID, where you played last year, didn't play. So it's a good way to kind of just let everybody know what your expectations are for the year and just set goals for yourself.
It's a good way to market your team as well.
Yes.
For the top 20 being released, the voters obviously don't have much to go off of other than these team previews and history. But, like you said, there's teams that didn't even play last year. So, if you haven't turned one in, and you don't end up on the top 20, well, there's a reason for that. So make sure you take it seriously, put in, what you think, like Jimmy said, you're trying to accomplish this year, and, maybe find yourself on the preseason top 20. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing how things shake out. So.
For sure, yeah. Like he was saying, the voters are going off the standings page, but a lot of teams haven't played in the fall. So these team previews give them a little more information to make a good preseason poll to have it pretty accurate. Moving on to housekeeping stuff, the official season kicks off February 1st. So starting February 1st, you're able to play official NCBA games, whether they're conference or non-conference. And leading into being able to play those games, you got to have a roster online, and to do so, you need to turn in your academic eligibility form. That gets verified through your school's registrar or club sports department, kind of whoever handles those. And there's no exceptions on those. You must turn that in to have an active roster online, and you must have an active roster online to play the games. If you've played in the fall, you should be familiar with kind of how this process goes. If you haven't and kind of need help with it, have questions, make sure you reach out to me if you're in Division II, or Eric Curator if you're in Division I. And going off what Christian said earlier, even if you did play on the fall, you need to do this for the spring. Although it is all the same season, you need an eligible roster in the fall and in the spring. And just because you're not eligible, or just because you are eligible in the fall, does not automatically put you in for the spring. All the same rules apply, where you need to be academically eligible. Course loads change, grades change, so you need to be eligible on both ends to make sure you can finish out this season in the spring. Then once you do that, you're good for the spring. It only needs to happen one time for the semester.
Do you have a lot of games on the docket starting that first week?
We don't. There's 6 or 7 series that are taking place, and a couple of them have already had to be rescheduled thanks to COVID protocols, but we do have some taken off this first week. So make sure no matter when you play, really, get those in as soon as you can, because it takes longer than expected. It can take a couple weeks from the schools to get back with you. So even if you don't play until March, get the academic eligibility form in as soon as you can. Get it out of the way. Then the last item I have, World Series sites. We're on the goal line for both Division I and Division II, just tying up a couple things. We should be able to expect to announce those later this month, within the next few weeks. And as soon as we're able to, you guys will know about it. We're excited to get that information out for the new sites.
Beautiful, man.
Outstanding. Looking forward to baseball season kicking back off. Yeah,
Absolutely.
How many teams do we got playing this year? 2.
I have 141 in Division I. It's, I want to say, like 139. So yeah, somewhere right around
275.
Yeah,
275
ish.
ish.
280.
Nice.
There's an asterisk in there.
Yeah, nice rebound from the 40 we had last year.
Yeah.
So
Growth.
yes, recovery.
Yes.
All right, good stuff, Jimmy. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate your insight onto Division I and Division II baseball. We're going to take a quick commercial break again. And when we get back, we're going to move on to some swing in the spring training updates. All right, welcome back. Hopefully you enjoyed that aerial footage there of the Panama City Beach Sports Complex. Thanks to Visit Panama City Beach for getting us that footage there. That's going to be our home for Swinging the Spring, Panama City Beach here in the month of March. Excited about that spring training showcase moving. Last year it was supposed to be the first year in Panama City, shut down because of COVID and lack of teams being allowed to travel and play. So this will be our inaugural season in our new home, and what a facility it is. Can't wait to get there. So our registration is done. The schedules have been created and sent out for review. But we have a total of, let's talk about teams signed up. We've got 52 baseball teams coming over the course of 3 weeks. 21 week 2, 25 week 3. That's going to be a wild and woolly week full of baseball, as well as week 4 is the nice, trimmed down 6 teams. On the softball side, we got 7 teams coming down to Swing in the Spring, so it's going to be a lot of fun for both the baseball and the softball teams coming down. As we talk about the schedules being released, couple highlights. We went through the schedule, and I think we're talking about, close to 300 baseball games, or 100. I don't even remember how many games it is. A lot of games. Over the course of a 3-week span, and we highlighted a few matchups that really stuck out to us. First off, Virginia Tech and ECU are going to match up down there.
Wow.
Virginia Tech's our reigning national champion, and ECU was a World Series semifinalist from last year. Virginia Tech had to beat them twice to make the finals of the World Series last year. Interesting enough, those teams squared off 8 times last year. Virginia took 5 of the 8. So
was it 8 or 6? You might be right. I know they played 3.
But
3 conference.
They played 3 conference, which ECU took 2 of 3.
Yep.
And then Virginia Tech won the regional by taking 2 of 3 from
Oh, okay.
ECU.
I didn't know they played that many times at regionals.
And then Virginia Tech beat them twice at the World Series.
I mean, I think we were talking about this at the World Series. I mean, even in a normal year, not even a COVID-shortened year, you don't have teams play face off that often, and in that season they instantly developed a rivalry. So that's should be very exciting for those two to it's a great rivalry. I mean, those two teams are very storied and well coached and play the game the right way. So I'm really excited to see that's on the schedule down there. It should be a lot of fun to watch that one.
Absolutely. Another highlight matchup on the D2 side of things. We got Cal U in Pennsylvania taking up against Penn State Division II. Cal U is currently undefeated. Penn State is kind of a perennial ranked team, favorite to win their region, so that should be an excellent matchup down there amongst the D2 teams in attendance. ECU versus Penn State, Division I, that's another matchup. Now those are two teams that have become accustomed to play each other a lot on the grand stage. Last time they've squared off, Penn State had their whole season wiped out last year, didn't get to compete at all. So the last time these two teams played was for the World Series national title game in 2018, in which Penn State walked off ECU thanks to a hit by Pat Fitzgerald, claiming Penn State's second national title. So get to see those two teams match up down there again. NC State versus Iowa. NC State won the Greenville Invitational, going 5-1 this past fall. Really good competition. Iowa's been a perennial World Series team. It's been a solid team out of the Mid-America the last number of years, so that's going to be an excellent matchup up down there. We've got Bloomfield versus Bloomfield. Is that Bloomsburg? Yeah, Bloomsburg versus Wisconsin Division II. Bloomsburg started off the pre-COVID season 9-0 before and started this year at 4-2. While Wisconsin's currently undefeated through fall ball. So those two matchups, Bloomsburg is a team we have not gotten to see much of because they were new. Their first season got cut short. So excited about what they're putting on the field so far. Wisconsin D2 is always a good team. Should be a fun matchup there as well. And last but not least, our lone conference game of the entire Swing in the Spring, Panama City Beach, Wisconsin Whitewater versus Wisconsin Eau Claire. They're going to play a conference game down there, towards the end of the week. Once they're down there, to get the rust off, knock out one of your conference games down there, come back, you only have a doubleheader to make up. So, should be great.
Smart.
Yep.
Especially for those two teams.
Yep, we got our staff has been their travel plans have been set for who's going to be covering which weeks of the event. So it's going to be a great time down there at Swing in the Spring, Panama City Beach. Last thing on that topic, most of the teams have booked their hotels already. If you have not, please do so soon. You don't want to end up down there sleeping in the back of your car. We've got a number of partners out there, but especially that week 2 and week 3 where we've got 20 plus teams coming down. These blocks may sell out. There's going to be a place for you, no doubt about that. Is it going to be the place? Is it going to be your first choice? I can't guarantee you that. So get off the schneid and get your hotel rooms booked so you can have a great experience down there. Very, very excited to see how many teams are booking where. We've been tracking who's booked, and some of these resorts are going to be lively, full of action at night based on who's staying where. So, all right, well that's all I got for spring training East. Swing in the Spring PCB.
Yeah, I know on the west side, Alex working hard. I believe there's about 14 teams signed up in total for Mesquite and Henderson. But yeah, he's working through all the finer details of that event. But that is growing as well. So great job to Alec with the Swing in the Spring West. So
all right. Well, hey, thanks for tuning in. That's our show for this month. We appreciate you joining us for this episode of Suite 301. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Facebook.
Next episode, February 15th, and you know the time, 3:01 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Facebook Live. Join us to catch up on everything that's happening around Call Club Sports.
And don't forget, it's a game.
Have fun.